JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. January 8th, 2025, 9:05 here on this fine Wednesday. Talk quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. S&P futures have reversed morning losses, are pretty much slightly in the green here. And they were green overnight. Yields started to pop, and then as yields popped about 6 o'clock, markets fell all the way to lows at 7:30. And then we had the ADP report. So we have this week on Friday, we have the December jobs report. An ADP report came out showing jobless claims fell 10,000, right? So sometimes that precedes or gives some kind of indicator to the jobs report. We'll see. Yesterday, the big story was the JOLTS report, right? Oh my gosh, I think was it last summer or the summer before the JOLTS report all of a sudden took was a report data you never really talked about, and all of a sudden it was like front and center, and the market just went came under pressure as those numbers came in much better than expected, and kind of gave the thought market was pricing the Fed giving some pause to rate cuts, and maybe we're kind of deja vu all over again. We'll see. But today at 2 o'clock, we have the Fed minutes. That'll be an important data piece, and especially with the hawkish spin that Powell gave at the last Fed decision and press conference. So hopefully it can relieve some angst around that. And then the jobs report I put on the watch list. I hate to want to see a weaker than expected jobs report, but I think that'll be just what the doctor ordered to maybe get the markets back on solid footing. Also it's funny, you don't really hear, I mean, you hear yields get discussed a lot, but it seems like it's picking up in regards to how much folks are talking about it. What the UK, the 10-year hit levels not seen since 2008, and it's almost like a top in the sentiment, or at least the folks talking about, which means maybe it's a top in yields. At least that's hopefully hopefully that is the case, and then yields either can just flatline for a bit or start to reverse the other side. That's overall market. The SPY, the 50-day moving average, was holding on until about 11:30, 12 o'clock, and then we had that melt, and I was saying deja vu all over again on Monday, and then that held, but then yesterday we didn't hold, and markets pretty much closed right at the lows. I was trying to find some names to get some hedges on, but most of them were in the red, and then they were holding up even when things started to get a little rough. So I just kind of sat on my hands, but we'll see what happens here today. 584 is a key spot. Those were the lows we hit last week, and then that 580 handle we hit will be another key spot. That was the post-Fed. And then here's the 10-year yields, and I mean, just not the kind of thing you want to see, especially with the Fed starting to normalize policy. Pretty remarkable stuff. All right, so that's the overall markets. Individual names, I forgot to mention JOBY on my rant yesterday, but another monster day. Well, I would say monster because it was up 20% on Friday, and then closed pretty much slightly in the green on Monday, which I thought was a good sign considering its move on Friday, and then resumed its uptrend over $10, tested 1070 before pulling back. Closed the last of my January strikes. I was actually looking to close them out on Monday, so thankfully I got that move, and then I went and got some February strikes, and I was looking later out. But if you take a look at the stock, it's been volatile, and it's had those swings since the start of December. So of course, I would love to see it break 12 and continue to rally, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some choppiness, right? So if that's the case, it leaves me open to get some more strikes, some April calls. So that's kind of the game plan for right now. Also, this morning, Canaccord upgraded, well, gave a price target upgrade 1150 from 975. So hopefully that keeps the stock bid. But what a monster this has been since November. TripAdvisor up 9 of the past 10 sessions. I'm still looking to lock my January strikes in. Almost closed those in yesterday, but surprising strength amidst the market sell-off yesterday. So just continues to hold up well, slow and steady. So of course, I'd love to see it spike and run. Maybe we get that today or on Friday, but definitely. Really like this name, 1675, 17 is the next target there. SolarEdge, so another monster move yesterday, 3 price target upgrades, Wells Fargo, Goldman Spectacular. And of course, what happens this morning, Citigroup comes out and downgrades the stock to sell from neutral. I mean, they've been wrong so far, right? Well, at least on the bounce, the most recent bounce from middle November when it was trading at $10. So they're wrong 60%, right? But I used yesterday's move because you never know with the market, and especially some of these names that are highly shorted. I didn't want to lose more profits, so I locked some more of my 18 calls in for close to 500%, and then I just held a few, and I'll continue to hold those, and then I might, depending if it holds 16 today, I might look for some strikes to play for 20 bucks because I don't think this is an analyst story anymore. I mean, unless Citigroup thinks they're going bankrupt. I mean, and you take a look at Citigroup, they have a bullish stance on First Solar, so they upgraded First Solar, I think, back in November. So to me, it's like if you're bullish on the solar sector, and if Solar Edge is in the process of working out their debt and cutting costs. I mean, how can you not be bullish the name? And worse yet, they're negative the name. So I think they have it wrong, but maybe maybe I have it wrong. But already made some nice profits. So I'll be patient and I'll continue to look for opportunities to add some more calls there on Solar Edge. Roku just disappointing. I was writing up the watch list yesterday, and I was looking to possibly add on that Fubo, Disney, Hulu Plus news, and Hulu Live. And then sure enough, they announced news like 8:45. Then you had Needham announcing as a top pick for 2025. I'm still bullish to name like I always am. So I'll continue to look for opportunities to play it for upside. Just disappointing to see it give back all the gains and then some. It's gapping here in the pre-market. Hopefully, you can get back over 80 bucks. Funny, my January strikes were coming back to life that I got back in December. So those are freebies. I'd already locked some of the Decembers in, which those made some profits on, but those expired as well. And I'll continue to play it into 2025 because I think there's going to, I was mentioned on the rant yesterday morning, there's going to be consolidation in that sector. Teladoc looked like it was going to break and run over that 200-day moving average yesterday morning, right out of the gate, all the way up to 1061. And then just like Roku gave it all back, closed flat. Hopefully that can get going again today, close over that 200-day moving average 1015 and off to the races. Intuit, another name I was looking for some put hedges on. It's just going too slow. I mean, it hit lows near the end of the day, but I think it could go and trade down near 580 if the market finds some weakness. So don't be surprised if I had some puts there. And then last but not least, the biotech sector. Take a look at IBB. It's up five sessions in a row into 2025. And then you look at some of these mega bio names that have been destroyed, the Regenerons, the Biogens, and some of these other names. I mean, they're holding up. So maybe there's a bounce in play. And similar like United Healthcare, Cigna, Humana, those are insurers that I might look to trade for calls. And now you look at Biogen, and it's kind of found some footing around 140, 150. I mean, I was looking for some calls back last year when it was in the 180s, 190s. I think it's set for maybe a bounce here. So don't be surprised if I add some strikes for a move into the 165, 170 range on Biogen, because especially if the biotech, I wouldn't say the biotech sector is back, but there's also the healthcare conference coming. I think it's next week. I don't know if it's the JPM healthcare conference. Typically, you see some names move, and wouldn't be surprised if some of the biotech mega cap names really start to get a bid here. And that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock.